Hello everyone, welcome to the new session of Plant Kingdom. This is the fifth part, and in this part we will study about gymnosperms. So, gymnosperm include the medium-sized tree or tall trees and shrubs. So, in this type of plant, we can see two different type of plant, that is, they can be present in the form of shrubs and they can also present in the form of trees. And trees, we can see medium sized trees also, medium sized trees also, and tall sized tree. So one of the tall sized tree is sequoia. One of the gymnosperm, that is the also called as giant redwood tree. This is called as giant redwood tree, Sequoia gigantica. Okay, this is the tallest tree species till date we know about, and the roots are generally tap roots. So gymnosperms have tap root system. So they are perennial and woody. Their stem is woody. They are in either bush or tree forms. Gymnosperm be either evergreen or deciduous. So sometimes we can see gymnosperm as a evergreen, that is, they have green leaves all over the years, and sometimes they are deciduous, even means they shed their leaves at particular season. Gymnosperm possesses well-developed vascular tissue. So xylem and phloem both are present. Okay, so well-developed vascular tissue is here. In the last session, we have studied about the pteridophytes were the first land plant that has vascular tissues. So gymnosperms allow to transport water, nutrients, sugar throughout this plant with the help of these vascular tissue. The roots are generally taproot. They have taproot system. So we have seen one very important characteristic, that is the association of mycorrhiza in the case of Pinus. This is one of the individual of gymnosperm. So roots in some genera have the fungal association. Now here you can see fungus forms an association with the roots of Pinus. And this fungal hyphae reaches to several kilometers. They can reach to several kilometers, and they helps to absorb some important minerals, and these minerals are provided to the roots of Pinus. Now Pinus, in contrast, provide nutrient material to the hyphal of mycorrhiza. So this mycorrhiza association is seen in the case of Pinus. In case of cycas, another individual of gymnosperm, small specialized root called coralloid roots are present, and they are associated with the nitrogen fixing bacteria. Okay, so this is the coralloid roots in the case of cycas. Generally, the roots are positive geotropic, means they goes to downward towards the gravity. Okay, but this root, this coralloid root, moves upward. Okay, it moves upward, and they contain lot of nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria. So these bacteria provide nitrogen to the plant, and in contrast they get nutrient material from the roots of the cycas plant. So this is one of the very important characteristic of the cycas root. Pollination is direct, as stigma is absent and pollen grain directly reach to the micropylar ends of the ovule. So here the stigma is absent, okay, and at the micropylar end of the ovules, pollen grain reaches directly. External water is not required for the transport of male gamete, as we have seen in the case of bryophytes and pteridophytes. They require water, external water, but here no water is required for the process of pollination. Okay, so like pteridophytes, like we have seen in the case of pteridophytes, xylem do not possesses vessels. So here also the vessels is totally absent in the case of xylem tissues. Phloem is without companion cell. No companion cell is present in the case of phloem tissue. Gymnosperms are heterosporous, means two different types of spores are present. They are heterosporous in nature and they produces two kinds of spores, that is microspores, okay, and megaspores. So megaspores contain ovules and microspores contain pollen grains. These sporangia means these heterosporous are present in the sporangia. So microsporangia and megasporangia are found on a special leaf-like structure which is called as sporophylls. So microsporangia represent the pollen sac. So how it occur? The structure of microsporangia is like this. Like this. These are the microsporangia. Okay. So microsporangia represent the pollen sac and megasporangia represent the ovules. So this is the microsporangia. Ovule structure we will see in the next slide. Microsporangia produced on the microsporophylls. So this is the microsporophyll and this is microsporangia. Microsporangia. Okay. So this is the structure of ovule. One of the most distinctive feature of the gymnosperm that they have naked seed. The seeds are not covered with fruit wall. It is naked. Okay, and seed is also not covered with any covering. So seeds are not enclosed within a protective fruit like in case of angiosperm. So this is one of the very important distinctive character of gymnosperms. So if we classify the gymnosperms, so living gymnosperms can be divided into 4 different groups, namely Psychedopsida. Okay, these contain smaller groups of gymnosperm. So smaller groups of gymnosperm comes under the Psychedopsida. Example is Cycas. Next is Gymnosperms. Okay, it represents by only one species, that is Ginkgo biloba. Only one species is present in this particular class. Coniferopsida. Coniferopsida, as its names indicate, cone-shaped structure. So reproductive structures are in the form of cones. So Pinus and Thuja are 2 examples of this type of plant. Gnetopsida. Lianas, they can be in the form of lianas or shrubs or few stumpy turnip-like structures. So Gnetum and Ephedra are the examples of this Gnetopsida. Okay, we will study about 2-3 important individual of the gymnosperms. So the first one is Cycas. So Cycas plant resemble the palm tree or the tree ferns. So here you can see the figure. Its leaf is like palm leaf structure. Okay. They have a pinnate leaf that persists for a few years. This is very important. So leaf is pinnately compound. So like this. And a thick cuticle is also present at its leaves. Like this. So this is pinnate leaves. They have unbranched columnar stem that is covered with the spiral bands of leaves. So its stem is like this stump structure. No branching is there, and you can see scars of the leaves. When leaves is attached to it, it is like this. And when the leaves get detached, you can see the scars or the remains of the attached site of the leaves. Roots are of two types, normal and coralloid. We have seen the coralloid root, how it present in the case of cycas. Coralloid root have symbiotic association with some cyanobacteria like nostoc and anabina. Vegetative reproduction occur by the fleshy bulbil. So sometime what happen? A bulb-like structure comes out at the lower part of the stem. So this is if this is the particular stem of the plant, then here comes the bulb-like structure like this. New. Now this bulb you can detach and place at it a new point, and this will form a new plant. So this is a type of vegetative reproduction which is occur by fleshy bulbils. Cycas is a dioecious plant. Dioecious plant means male and female plants are different. So there will be a male plant, there will be a female plant, and both the plant bear cones. Both, whether it is a male, whether it is a female, it bear cones. Male cone is oval and made up of microsporophylls. So here you can see the male cone. This is the male cone, and this one is microsporophyll. This is one microsporophylls. Female cone loose and consist of megasporophylls. Comparatively, they are not compact. Male cone is quite compact in structure, whereas you can see in the case of this. So one, if I draw one megasporophyll, then it is somewhat like this. And at the base, they are having ovules. So this is megasporophyll in the case of cycas. Each megasporophyll bear 2 to 12 reddish ovules in the middle fertile part. Pollination is anemophilous, means with the help of air. The sperm is largest in the biological world. So cycas is having largest sperm in the biological world. Sperms are top shaped. It is like top shaped, and it is having spiral, and at the grooves they are having 5-6 grooves are there, and they are having cilia, hair like structure like this. Okay, numbers of flagella are present here like this. The next individual is Pinus. Pinus belong to the conifer family. We have seen another family which is called Coniferopsida. So this is conifer family, and as its name suggests, it bears cone-like structure, which include other needle-bearing trees like spruce, firs, and cedars. Now here you can see the leaves are in the form of needle. This is one of the very peculiar characteristic of this plant. The leaves are in the form of needles. So pines have needle-like leaves that are typically arranged in clusters. Okay, so leaves are arranged in clusters like this. This can be one cluster. Okay, this can be another cluster, and the number of needle present in the cluster is also defined. So pines are evergreen tree. meaning they retain their needle throughout the year. So that is why this plant always remains green. That is why it is called as evergreen tree. Stems, branches are of two types, long and dwarf. So it possesses 1 to 5 needles like foliage leaves. So some could be having only one, could be have 5 even in their branch having foliage leaves. Roots are of again two types, normal roots and mycorrhizal roots. So we have seen in the earlier that mycorrhizal association is there in the roots of pinus. So that helps into absorption of minerals to the pinus plant. And in return, the pinus plant provide nourishment to the fungal hyphae. Pine male cones are generally smaller and less conspicuous than the female cone. Now here you can see in the diagram itself, the structure is less compact, okay, smaller in structure, okay, whereas female cones develops in 2 to 6 on the upper longer branches. They are quite larger and woody structure. Okay, whereas male cones are usually positioned at the lower down of the branches. Their position is lower side, whereas the female cones are present in groups of 2 to 6 at the upper longer branches. Ovuliferous scales bears 2 ovules toward the basal region. So this is one scale. This is one ovuliferous scale. So here you can see winged seeds. Okay, so pollination is anemophilous. Again, air is responsible for the process of pollination. Pollen grain forms yellow clouds in the pine forest. So when the pollen grains are released, you can see it is like yellow clouds. It is like yellow clouds. Okay. So many pollen grains are released once at a time. So that is why the pine forest sometimes look like yellow clouds. After the fertilization, the ovule matures into seeds and female cone takes about 26 months for reaching its maturity. It opens, release winged seeds. So when the seeds are formed, when it is released, they are having wing-like structure. So here you can see wing-like structure. This is the position of seed. Suppose this is the seed which was attached here. When it is get detached, okay, so it is look like this, but it helps to move in the environment. This wing-like structure helps to move in the environment. The next individual is ginkgo. Ginkgo biloba is called living fossil. This is very, very important for the examination point of view. This is called as living fossil as it has no change from last several years since it appears in the Triassic period. So how it appears in the Triassic period, it appears today even. That is why it is called as living fossil. Leaves are fan shaped. Now here you can see the leaves are like fan shaped. This is very important. Fan shaped leaves. Okay. Ginkgo are dioecious like the cycads, like male individual and female individual, male plant and female plant. The dwarf shoot of the female plant bear distinct megasporangiate structure. Megasporangiate structure. Endosperms of the roasted seed is edible. So this plant endosperm can be eaten. It is edible. So this is the life cycle of gymnosperm. So mature sporophyte, we can see this plant as a mature sporophyte. This is a pinus tree showing over here. So this is having female cone and this is the male cone. Male cone having male spore sacs, okay, and the female cone is having ovules. Now in these meiosis division occur. Okay, and after the meiosis, male gametophyte, that is microspores, are formed. And here in the case of ovules, 4 megaspores are formed and only one will survive. Only one will survive, the 3 will degenerate. Okay, so this is the female gametophyte. When sperm reaches here, it get fertilized and zygote is formed. Here the zygote is formed. So again, diploid structure is here. So embryo, after the zygote formation, embryo is formed. Okay, and seed is dispersed from one place to another, and when it gets suitable substratum, the new plant emerges out. This is showing the young sporophyte structure. Okay, so this is the life cycle of gymnosperm. So dominant stage of the gymnosperm life cycle is the sporophytic structure, that is called as sporophyte. The reproductive structures are known as cones or strobili. Cones can be either male or female. If it is a male, it carries pollen grains. It is called pollen cones, and it is also called as seed cones, the female one. They develop on the same plant but on the different branches. This is monoecious. When mature, the pollen cone release the pollen grains into the air. Okay, so when they become this structure, that is the male cone and the female cone, when they get mature, the male releases the pollen grain. This pollen grain germinate, forming a pollen tube when it reaches to the female gametophyte. One of the sperm cell fertilizes the egg cell and forms the diploid zygote. Now this is again started the sporophyte generation. The fertilized ovule develops into the seed and that forms embryo inside it. So ovule of the gymnosperms are naked. This is very important point. Its ovules is naked because they do not form any fruit-like structure. Okay, and it do not have any fruit wall or a seed coat. So once mature, the seed cones releases the seeds. The embryo inside the seeds develops into the new sporophyte plant, starting at a new cycle. So this all we have already discussed with the help of figure. Economic importance of gymnosperm. Edible seeds. So Pinus gerardiana are eaten. Pinus gerardiana, this is one of the species of Pinus. Its seeds are edible in nature. So gymnosperm possesses timber wood. This is very important. Many types of timber woods are obtained from the gymnosperm species. They are used in making furniture, plywood, packing cases, matchsticks, and even railway sleepers. Gymnosperms are also used in manufacture of paper, and needle of Pinus are used in making fiber board. Okay, so this is all about the gymnosperm. We will meet with the new session of this particular chapter, that is called Plant Kingdom, and the new session will be angiosperm. Thank you very much.